What if the universe itself is alive, thinking, and aware? What if every star, every atom, and every moment of existence is part of a vast, interconnected consciousness? This isn't science fiction. It's a question that scientists, philosophers, and thinkers have been exploring for decades. Welcome to a journey into the mysteries of quantum consciousness, where the boundaries between mind and matter blur, and the universe might just be more aware than we ever imagined. Quantum consciousness is the idea that the very fabric of reality, the tiny, unpredictable world of quantum physics, might hold the key to understanding how consciousness works. It's a concept that challenges everything we think we know about the universe and our place in it. From the strange behavior of particles to the possibility that our minds might be entangled with the cosmos itself, this is a field of study that's as fascinating as it is mind-bending. In this video, we'll dive into 30 groundbreaking theories that explore the connection between consciousness and the quantum universe. From the holographic nature of reality to the idea that black holes might possess their own form of awareness, each theory will take you deeper into the mysteries of existence. Are we just observers in a vast, indifferent universe, or are we active participants in a cosmic dance of consciousness? Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you'll not only have a deeper understanding of these theories, you might just see the universe and yourself in a whole new light. Let's begin. Now, let's step into the first theory, one that might completely reshape how you see the universe. The Holographic Universe Theory proposes that our reality isn't as solid as it seems. Instead, it suggests that the entire universe could be a hologram, a vast, intricate projection of information encoded on a two-dimensional surface. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Consciousness might be a fundamental part of this holographic structure, woven into the very fabric of reality itself. This idea didn't just appear out of thin air. It has roots in the work of physicists like David Bohm and Leonard Susskind. Bohm, a quantum physicist, suggested that the universe operates like a hologram where every part contains the whole. Susskind, on the other hand, brought the concept into the realm of string theory, proposing that the information describing our three-dimensional world could be stored on a two-dimensional boundary, much like a hologram. So, what does this mean for consciousness? If the universe is a hologram, then our minds might not be separate from it. Instead, they could be deeply interconnected with this holographic framework, acting as both observers and participants in shaping reality. This theory challenges the traditional view of consciousness as something confined to the brain, suggesting instead that it's a universal phenomenon embedded in the very structure of existence. The implications are staggering. If the universe is a hologram, then everything we experience, every thought, every sensation, every moment, could be part of a grand, interconnected system. It raises questions about free will, the nature of perception, and even the possibility that our minds might influence the universe on a fundamental level. As we explore this theory further, keep in mind that it's not just about the universe being a hologram, it's about how consciousness might be the thread that ties it all together. And with that, let's move forward to the next theory, where we'll dive into the quantum processes that could be happening right inside your brain. Now, let's shift our focus to a theory that takes us deep into the inner workings of the brain. The Orchestrated Objective Reduction, or ORCH theory, is a bold idea proposed by physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff. This theory suggests that consciousness isn't just a product of neurons firing in the brain. It might actually arise from quantum processes happening within tiny structures called microtubules found inside our brain cells. Microtubules are like the scaffolding of the cell, helping it maintain its shape and transport materials. But according to Penrose and Hameroff, they might also be the key to understanding consciousness. They propose that these microtubules could host quantum vibrations, tiny, rapid fluctuations at the quantum level. that collapse in a specific way to produce moments of conscious experience. This process is called objective reduction, and when it's orchestrated by the brain's structure, it could give rise to what we perceive as awareness. The scientific basis for this theory lies in the strange world of quantum mechanics. Penrose argues that the brain's ability to process information in a way that feels unified and coherent might require something beyond classical physics. Quantum processes, with their ability to exist in multiple states at once, could explain how the brain integrates vast amounts of information into a single, seamless experience of consciousness. However, this theory isn't without its controversies. Many scientists question whether the brain, which operates at warm, wet, and noisy conditions, could sustain delicate quantum processes. Critics argue that quantum effects are usually observed in highly controlled environments like supercooled labs and might not survive in the chaotic environment of the brain. Despite these challenges, Penrose and Hameroff continue to refine their ideas, pointing to recent studies that suggest quantum effects might play a role in biological systems, such as photosynthesis in plants and navigation in birds. What makes this theory so intriguing is its potential to bridge the gap between the physical brain and the mysterious nature of consciousness. If true, it could revolutionize our understanding of the mind, suggesting that our thoughts and experiences are rooted in the fundamental laws of the universe. As we move forward, let's explore another fascinating idea, the quantum mind theory, which builds on these quantum foundations to explain how consciousness might emerge from the brain's intricate processes. Now, let's take a closer look at a theory that builds on the quantum foundations we've just explored. The quantum mind theory takes the idea of quantum consciousness a step further, suggesting that the brain's intricate processes might rely on quantum mechanics to produce what we experience as awareness. This theory doesn't just connect neuroscience and quantum physics, it also opens the door to understanding one of the most debated topics in philosophy and science, free will. At its core, the quantum mind theory proposes that the brain isn't just a classical computer made of neurons and synapses. Instead, it might function more like a quantum computer, where particles can exist in multiple states at once. This quantum behavior could allow the brain to process information in ways that classical physics simply can't explain. For example, imagine trying to solve a complex problem. A classical computer would tackle it step by step, but a quantum system could explore multiple solutions simultaneously. If the brain operates on similar principles, it might explain how we can think creatively, make decisions, and even experience the sensation of free will. One of the key ideas here is that quantum processes could provide the brain with a kind of flexibility that classical systems lack. In classical physics, everything is determined by cause and effect, like a chain reaction where one event leads to another. But in the quantum world, particles can behave unpredictably, and their states aren't fixed until they're observed. This unpredictability might be what gives rise to the feeling of making choices. In other words, free will could emerge from the brain's ability to harness quantum randomness. But how does this connect to consciousness? Proponents of the quantum mind theory argue that quantum processes in the brain could create a unified experience of awareness. Instead of being a collection of separate thoughts and sensations, consciousness might arise from the brain's ability to integrate quantum information into a single, coherent stream. This would explain why our thoughts feel so seamless and why we experience the world as a continuous flow rather than a series of disconnected moments. Of course, this theory isn't without its challenges. Critics point out that the brain is a warm, noisy environment, which seems like the last place delicate quantum effects could survive. However, recent research has shown that quantum processes might play a role in biological systems, such as how birds navigate using Earth's magnetic field, or how plants efficiently convert sunlight into energy through photosynthesis. These discoveries suggest that nature might have found ways to harness quantum mechanics, even in complex, living organisms. What makes the quantum mind theory so compelling is its potential to answer some of the biggest questions about human existence. If consciousness and free will are rooted in quantum processes, it could mean that our minds are deeply connected to the fundamental fabric of the universe. This idea doesn't just bridge neuroscience and quantum physics, it also invites us to rethink what it means to be conscious, to make choices, and to exist in a universe governed by both order and uncertainty. As we continue our journey, let's turn our attention to another mind-bending concept, the many worlds interpretation and how it might shape our understanding of consciousness across parallel realities. Now, let's venture into a theory that stretches the boundaries of reality itself. The many worlds interpretation takes the idea of quantum mechanics and turns it into a cosmic kaleidoscope, suggesting that every quantum event doesn't just create one outcome, it spawns an entire universe for every possible result. This means that every decision, every random event, and every quantum fluctuation could be branching off into countless parallel realities, each one as real as the one we're experiencing right now. At its heart, the many worlds interpretation challenges our understanding of existence. Instead of a single, linear timeline, the universe becomes a vast, ever-expanding tree of possibilities. Imagine flipping a coin. In our world, it lands on heads, but according to this theory, there's another universe where it lands on tails, and both outcomes are equally real. This idea isn't just about coins or simple choices. It applies to every quantum event, from the decay of an atom to the firing of a neuron in your brain. So, where does consciousness fit into this multiverse? If every possible outcome exists in its own universe, does that mean there are infinite versions of you, each experiencing a different life? Some theorists suggest that consciousness might be the thread that ties these parallel realities together. In one universe, you might have taken a different job, moved to a different city, or even made a different decision in a split second. But in all these universes, your consciousness remains the core of your experience, navigating the infinite branches of existence. This raises profound questions about identity. If there are countless versions of you, each living a slightly different life, what does that mean for the concept of you? Are you still the same person across these realities, or does each version of you have its own unique identity? The many worlds interpretation blurs the line between individuality and multiplicity, suggesting that your sense of self might be just one facet of a much larger, interconnected existence. The implications for free will are equally fascinating. If every possible choice you could make already exists in some universe, does that mean your decisions are predetermined? Or does your consciousness actively choose which path to follow, creating a unique experience in the process? This theory doesn't just challenge our understanding of reality, it forces us to rethink what it means to make a choice and how those choices shape who we are. But the many worlds interpretation isn't just a thought experiment. It has real-world implications for how we understand the universe. For example, it could explain why quantum particles seem to exist in multiple states at once until they're observed. In this view, the act of observation doesn't collapse the particle state. It simply places you in one of the many universes where that state exists. This idea shifts the role of consciousness from a passive observer to an active participant in the fabric of reality. As we explore this theory, it's impossible not to wonder about the bigger picture. If every quantum event creates new universes, does that mean the multiverse is infinite? And if so, what does that say about the nature of existence itself? The many worlds interpretation invites us to consider a universe that's not just vast but endlessly creative, constantly branching into new possibilities. With this mind-bending concept in mind, let's turn our attention to another fascinating idea, the quantum entanglement of consciousness and how it might explain the interconnectedness of minds across the universe. Now, let's dive into a theory that takes the idea of interconnectedness to a whole new level, The quantum entanglement of consciousness suggests that our minds might be linked across the universe through the strange and mysterious phenomenon of quantum entanglement. This idea isn't just science fiction, it's rooted in the principles of quantum physics, which show that particles can become entangled, meaning their states are deeply connected no matter how far apart they are. If consciousness arises from quantum processes, as some theories propose, could our minds also be entangled in this way? Quantum entanglement is one of the most baffling aspects of quantum mechanics. When two particles become entangled, measuring one instantly affects the state of the other, even if they're light years apart. This connection seems to defy the limits of space and time, leading some scientists to wonder if something similar could happen with consciousness. Imagine if your thoughts, emotions, or even your sense of self could be entangled with someone else's, creating a kind of cosmic connection that transcends physical distance. This idea isn't just theoretical, it's been explored in experiments. For example, studies have looked at whether pairs of people who share close emotional bonds, like twins or romantic partners, might exhibit signs of quantum-like entanglement in their brain activity. While the results are still inconclusive, they raise intriguing questions about the nature of consciousness and whether it could operate on a quantum level. Could our minds be part of a vast, interconnected network, sharing information instantaneously across the universe? The philosophical implications of this theory are just as fascinating. If consciousness is entangled, it could explain phenomena like telepathy, intuition, or even the feeling of being deeply connected to someone you've never met. It also challenges our understanding of individuality. If our minds are linked in this way, are we truly separate beings, or are we all part of a larger, unified consciousness? This idea echoes ancient philosophies that see the universe as a single, interconnected whole, where everything is deeply intertwined. But the quantum entanglement of consciousness doesn't just stop at explaining human connections. It could also shed light on the nature of reality itself. If consciousness is entangled, it might play a role in shaping the universe, influencing the outcomes of quantum events in ways we don't yet understand. This would mean that our thoughts and observations aren't just passive, they're actively participating in the creation of reality, weaving the fabric of existence together in ways we're only beginning to grasp. As we explore this theory, it's impossible not to wonder about the bigger picture. If consciousness is entangled across the universe, what does that say about our place in the cosmos? Are we all part of a grand, interconnected web, where every thought and action ripples through the fabric of reality? The quantum entanglement of consciousness invites us to consider a universe that's not just vast but deeply connected, where the boundaries between minds, and even between individuals, might be far more fluid than we ever imagined. With this thought-provoking concept in mind, let's shift our focus to another intriguing idea, the zero-point field and how it might serve as the source of universal consciousness. Now, let's turn our attention to a concept that might hold the key to understanding the very foundation of consciousness itself, the zero-point field. This theory suggests that the universe is filled with a subtle, ever-present energy field, even in the absence of matter or light. Known as the zero-point field, it's the lowest possible energy state of a quantum system, but far from being empty. It's teeming with tiny fluctuations that could be the building blocks of reality, and perhaps even consciousness. At the heart of this idea is the notion that the zero-point field isn't just a passive backdrop to the universe. Instead, it's an active, dynamic force that gives rise to the quantum fluctuations we observe. These fluctuations are so small that they're often overlooked, but they're everywhere, constantly shaping the fabric of reality. Some scientists and theorists propose that these fluctuations might also be the source of universal consciousness, acting as a kind of cosmic background noise that connects everything in existence. Imagine the zero-point field as an invisible ocean, with ripples and waves representing the quantum fluctuations that occur at the smallest scales. If consciousness arises from these fluctuations, it could mean that every thought, every feeling, and every moment of awareness is rooted in this universal field. This would imply that consciousness isn't confined to individual brains, but is instead a fundamental property of the universe itself, woven into the very fabric of reality. This theory also offers a fascinating perspective on the relationship between mind and matter. If the zero-point field is the source of both quantum fluctuations and consciousness, it could mean that our thoughts and observations aren't just passive reflections of reality, they're active participants in shaping it. This idea aligns with the observer effect in quantum mechanics, where the act of observation seems to influence the behavior of particles. Could it be that the zero-point field is the medium through which consciousness interacts with the physical world, blurring the line between observer and observed? The implications of this theory are profound. If consciousness is rooted in the zero-point field, it could explain phenomena like intuition, synchronicity, or even the sense of being connected to something greater than ourselves. It also raises questions about the nature of individuality. Are we truly separate beings, or are we all expressions of a single, unified consciousness emerging from the zero-point field? This idea resonates with ancient spiritual traditions that speak of a universal oneness, where everything is interconnected at the deepest level. But the zero-point field theory doesn't just stop at explaining consciousness, it could also revolutionize our understanding of the universe. If the zero-point field is the source of both quantum fluctuations and consciousness, it might hold the key to unifying physics and metaphysics, bridging the gap between science and spirituality. This would mean that the universe isn't just a collection of random particles, but a living, conscious entity, constantly evolving and interacting with itself. As we explore this theory, it's impossible not to marvel at the possibilities it presents. Could the zero-point field be the missing link that connects the physical and the metaphysical, the seen and the unseen? If so, it would mean that consciousness isn't just a byproduct of the brain, but a fundamental force that shapes the cosmos. The zero-point field theory invites us to consider a universe that's not only vast and mysterious, but deeply alive, pulsating with the energy of consciousness itself. With this mind-expanding concept in mind, let's move on to another fascinating idea: the observer effect in quantum mechanics and how it might reveal the profound role of consciousness in shaping reality. Now, let's dive into one of the most intriguing and mind-bending aspects of quantum mechanics, the observer effect. This phenomenon suggests that the very act of observation can influence the behavior of particles at the quantum level, raising profound questions about the role of consciousness in shaping reality. At its core, the observer effect challenges our traditional understanding of how the universe works, blurring the line between the observer and the observed. To understand this concept, let's look at one of the most famous experiments in quantum physics, the double-slit experiment. In this experiment, particles like electrons or photons are fired at a barrier with two slits. When no one is observing, these particles behave like waves, creating an interference pattern on the screen behind the barrier. This pattern suggests that the particles are passing through both slits simultaneously, behaving as if they exist in multiple states at once. But here's where it gets fascinating. When scientists set up detectors to observe which slit the particles pass through, the particles suddenly start behaving like discrete particles, and the interference pattern disappears. It's as if the particles know they're being watched and change their behavior accordingly. This bizarre outcome has led many to wonder, does consciousness play a role in collapsing the wave function, the mathematical description of a particle's possible states? Some theorists argue that the act of observation, whether by a human or a machine, forces the particle to choose a definite state. Others go even further, suggesting that consciousness itself might be the key factor in determining the outcome of quantum events. If this is true, it would mean that our minds are not just passive observers of reality, but active participants in its creation. the implications of the observer effect are staggering. If consciousness can influence the behavior of particles, it could mean that reality is not as fixed and objective as we once thought. Instead, it might be a fluid, dynamic process shaped by the act of observation. This idea aligns with the zero-point field theory we just explored, where consciousness is seen as a fundamental force woven into the fabric of the universe. Together, these theories suggest that the universe is not just a collection of inert matter, but a living, interactive system where mind and matter are deeply intertwined. But the observer effect doesn't just challenge our understanding of reality, it also raises questions about the nature of existence itself. If observation can alter the behavior of particles, could our thoughts and intentions have a similar effect on the world around us? This idea has sparked interest in fields like quantum biology and even parapsychology, where researchers explore the possibility that consciousness might extend beyond the brain and interact with the physical world in ways we're only beginning to understand. As we reflect on the observer effect, it's clear that this phenomenon opens up a world of possibilities. It invites us to reconsider our place in the universe and the power of our own awareness. Could it be that every time we observe the world, we're not just witnessing reality but actively shaping it? If so, the observer effect might be one of the most profound clues we have about the true nature of consciousness and its role in the cosmos. With this thought-provoking concept in mind, let's turn our attention to another fascinating theory, the quantum brain hypothesis, which explores how the brain might operate as a quantum computer, giving rise to consciousness through quantum coherence. Now, shifting our focus to the inner workings of the human mind, let's explore the quantum brain hypothesis. This theory proposes that the brain might function like a quantum computer, with consciousness arising from quantum coherence, a state where particles work together in a synchronized, wave-like manner. If true, this could revolutionize our understanding of how the brain processes information and gives rise to thoughts, emotions, and self-awareness. At the heart of this idea is the concept of quantum coherence, where particles within the brain's neurons could exist in multiple states simultaneously, much like the particles in the double-slit experiment. This quantum behavior might allow the brain to perform incredibly complex calculations and store vast amounts of information far beyond what classical physics can explain. Imagine your brain not just as a network of neurons firing electrical signals, but as a quantum system capable of exploring countless possibilities at once. This could explain why humans are capable of creativity, intuition, and problem-solving in ways that even the most advanced computers struggle to replicate. One of the key areas where this theory gains traction is in the study of microtubules, tiny structures within brain cells that some researchers believe could support quantum processes. Stuart Hameroff and Roger Penrose, the minds behind the Orchestrated Objective Reduction theory, suggest that these microtubules might act as quantum processors, enabling the brain to perform tasks that classical biology alone cannot account for. For instance, how do we make split-second decisions or experience moments of sudden insight? The quantum brain hypothesis suggests that these phenomena might be the result of quantum computations happening at a microscopic level. But the implications of this theory go even further. If the brain operates on quantum principles, it could help explain some of the most mysterious aspects of consciousness, such as the binding problem, how the brain integrates diverse sensory inputs into a single, unified experience. Quantum coherence might provide a mechanism for this integration, allowing different parts of the brain to communicate instantaneously, regardless of physical distance. This could also shed light on phenomena like synesthesia, where senses overlap, or even the nature of dreams, where the mind creates vivid, non-linear experiences. Critics of the quantum brain hypothesis argue that the warm, wet environment of the brain is too chaotic for delicate quantum states to survive. However, proponents point to evidence from quantum biology, such as the role of quantum processes in photosynthesis and bird navigation, as proof that nature has found ways to harness quantum mechanics in biological systems. If quantum coherence can occur in plants and animals, why not in the human brain? As we consider this theory, it's clear that the quantum brain hypothesis opens up exciting possibilities for understanding the mind. It challenges us to rethink the boundaries between physics, biology, and consciousness, suggesting that the brain might be far more complex and interconnected than we ever imagined. Could quantum mechanics be the missing link that explains how a 3-pound organ gives rise to the richness of human experience? With this intriguing idea in mind, let's turn our attention to another fascinating theory, Panpsychism, which suggests that consciousness might be a fundamental property of all matter, from the smallest particles to the largest galaxies. Now, let's take a step into a theory that stretches the boundaries of how we think about consciousness itself. Panpsychism, an ancient philosophy with roots tracing back to thinkers like Thales and Spinoza, proposes a radical idea. Consciousness isn't something exclusive to living beings, it's a fundamental property of all matter. That's right, from the tiniest particles to the vast expanse of galaxies, everything might possess some form of consciousness. At its core, Panpsychism challenges the traditional view that consciousness emerges solely from complex biological systems like the human brain. Instead, it suggests that even the simplest forms of matter have an intrinsic, albeit basic, level of awareness. Think of it like this. If the universe is made up of building blocks, each block might carry a spark of consciousness, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. This idea flips the script on how we understand reality, implying that consciousness isn't something that arises but something that's always been there, woven into the fabric of existence. In recent years, Panpsychism has found new life in the world of quantum physics. Scientists and philosophers are beginning to explore how this ancient idea might align with modern discoveries about the nature of reality. For instance, quantum mechanics reveals that particles can exist in multiple states at once, and their behavior changes when observed. Could this observer effect hint at a form of proto-consciousness inherent in particles? Some researchers think so. They argue that if consciousness is a fundamental property, it might explain why quantum systems behave in such strange and unpredictable ways. One of the most compelling arguments for panpsychism comes from the so-called hard problem of consciousness, a term coined by philosopher David Chalmers. The hard problem asks why and how physical processes in the brain give rise to subjective experiences, why we feel things like joy, pain, or the color red. Panpsychism offers a potential solution. If consciousness is already a basic feature of the universe, then it doesn't need to emerge from physical processes. It's already there, waiting to be organized into more complex forms like the human mind. But how does this idea hold up in the face of criticism? Skeptics argue that panpsychism is too vague or even untestable. If everything has consciousness, how do we measure it? And what does it mean for a rock or a star to be conscious? Proponents counter that panpsychism doesn't claim rocks or stars have thoughts or feelings like humans do. Instead, it suggests they possess a minimal, perhaps even imperceptible, level of awareness, a foundational quality that, when combined in complex systems, gives rise to the rich experiences we associate with consciousness. The revival of panpsychism in quantum physics has sparked fascinating debates and opened new avenues for research. Could this theory bridge the gap between science and philosophy, offering a unified framework for understanding consciousness? It's a bold idea, one that invites us to rethink not just the nature of the mind, but the very essence of reality itself. As we ponder this profound concept, let's turn our attention to another groundbreaking theory, Integrated Information Theory, which seeks to quantify consciousness as a measure of information integration within a system. Now, shifting our focus to a theory that takes a more mathematical approach to understanding consciousness, let's explore Integrated Information Theory, or IT. Developed by neuroscientist Giulio Tononi, This theory proposes that consciousness isn't just a vague, philosophical concept, it's something that can be measured and quantified. At its heart, IIT suggests that consciousness arises from the way information is integrated within a system. The more interconnected and unified the information, the higher the level of consciousness. To break it down, imagine your brain as a vast network of neurons, each firing and communicating with others. According to IIT, it's not just the individual neurons that matter, but how they work together as a whole. The theory introduces a measure called phi, which represents the degree of information integration in a system. A high phi value indicates a highly conscious system, like the human brain, while a low phi value might correspond to simpler systems, like a computer or even a single neuron. This means that under IIT, consciousness isn't an all-or-nothing phenomenon. It exists on a spectrum with varying degrees of complexity and integration. But how does this connect to quantum processes? Some researchers speculate that the principles of IIT might align with quantum mechanics, particularly the idea of entanglement. In quantum entanglement, particles become interconnected in such a way that the state of one instantly influences the state of another, no matter the distance. Could this quantum interconnectedness be a physical manifestation of the kind of information integration IIT describes? It's a fascinating possibility, suggesting that the quantum realm might hold clues to the origins of consciousness itself. The implications of IIT extend far beyond biology and physics. They reach into the realm of artificial intelligence. If consciousness is about information integration, could machines ever achieve it? According to IIT, the answer depends on whether an AI system can achieve a high enough phi value. This raises profound questions about the nature of machine consciousness and whether it would resemble human experience. Could a sufficiently complex AI system feel emotions, perceive the world, or even possess self-awareness? These are questions that challenge our understanding of both technology and the mind. Critics of IIT argue that while the theory provides a compelling framework, it's still difficult to test empirically. Measuring phi in complex systems like the human brain is no small feat, and some question whether it's even possible to quantify consciousness in this way. Despite these challenges, IIT has sparked significant interest and debate, offering a fresh perspective on one of the most enduring mysteries of existence. As we reflect on the implications of integrated information theory, it's clear that this approach bridges the gap between science and philosophy, offering a way to study consciousness with mathematical rigor. Whether it's through the lens of quantum mechanics or the development of artificial intelligence, IIT invites us to rethink what it means to be conscious and how far that concept might extend. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to another intriguing idea: the possibility that black holes, those enigmatic cosmic phenomena, might possess a form of quantum consciousness. Now let's venture into the depths of space to explore a theory that merges the mysterious nature of black holes with the enigmatic concept of consciousness. Could these cosmic giants, known for their immense gravitational pull and ability to warp spacetime, also harbor a form of quantum consciousness? It's a bold idea that bridges the realms of astrophysics and metaphysics, challenging our understanding of both the universe and the mind. At the heart of this theory is the idea that black holes might not just be lifeless voids, but could instead possess a kind of awareness rooted in quantum processes. To understand this, we need to look at the peculiar properties of black holes. According to quantum mechanics, black holes emit something called Hawking radiation, a phenomenon that suggests they are not entirely closed off from the universe. This radiation implies that black holes have a temperature and over time can lose mass and energy. But what if this process is more than just a physical phenomenon? What if it hints at a deeper, more conscious interaction with the fabric of reality? Some theorists propose that the event horizon of a black hole, the point beyond which nothing can escape, might act as a kind of boundary where quantum information is processed and integrated. This idea draws parallels to integrated information theory, which we discussed earlier, where consciousness arises from the integration of information. If black holes are processing information in a similar way, could they be experiencing a form of quantum consciousness? It's a speculative but fascinating possibility, suggesting that these cosmic entities might be more than just gravitational anomalies. They could be active participants in the universe's informational network. This theory also touches on the concept of holography, which we explored earlier in the Holographic Universe Theory. If the universe is a hologram with all its information encoded on a two-dimensional surface, black holes might play a key role in storing and processing that information. Their event horizons could act as cosmic hard drives, encoding the data of everything that falls into them. If consciousness is tied to information processing, as some theories suggest, then black holes might be the ultimate conscious entities operating on a scale far beyond human comprehension. Of course, this idea is highly speculative and not without its critics. Some argue that attributing consciousness to black holes is more poetic than scientific, stretching the boundaries of what we can reasonably infer from current physics. Yet the theory raises profound questions about the nature of consciousness and its potential universality. If black holes can possess a form of awareness, what does that mean for the cosmos as a whole? Could the universe itself be conscious, with black holes serving as its neural nodes? As we ponder these questions, it's clear that the quantum consciousness of black holes theory pushes the boundaries of both science and philosophy. It invites us to consider the possibility that consciousness might not be confined to biological systems, but could exist in the most extreme and mysterious corners of the universe. Whether or not this theory holds up to scientific scrutiny, it challenges us to expand our understanding of what consciousness is and where it might be found. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to another fascinating intersection of quantum physics and biology, the quantum biology of consciousness. Now, let's shift our focus from the vastness of black holes to the intricate world of biology, where quantum processes might be at play in ways we're only beginning to understand. Could the same principles that govern the cosmos also influence the inner workings of living organisms? This is the heart of the quantum biology of consciousness theory, which explores how quantum mechanics might shape biological systems and perhaps even consciousness itself. One of the most striking examples of quantum biology is photosynthesis, the process by which plants convert sunlight into energy. Scientists have discovered that the efficiency of this process relies on quantum coherence, where particles like electrons exist in multiple states simultaneously. This allows energy to travel through the plant's molecular structure in the most efficient way possible, almost as if the plant is using quantum mechanics to optimize its survival. If quantum effects can enhance something as fundamental as photosynthesis, could they also play a role in the brain's ability to process information and generate consciousness? Another fascinating example comes from the animal kingdom, specifically the navigation abilities of certain birds. Species like the European robin are known to use Earth's magnetic field to guide their migrations over thousands of miles. Research suggests that this ability might rely on quantum entanglement, a phenomenon where particles become interconnected regardless of distance. In the bird's eyes, specialized molecules could be entangled with the Earth's magnetic field, allowing them to see or sense it in a way that defies classical physics. If quantum entanglement can guide a bird across continents, could it also be involved in the complex processes of the human brain? These examples raise an intriguing possibility that quantum mechanics isn't just a feature of the universe at large, but might also be woven into the fabric of life itself. If biological systems can harness quantum effects for survival and navigation, could consciousness, the most complex phenomenon of all, also have a quantum basis? Some researchers believe that the brain's microtubules, tiny structures within neurons, might facilitate quantum processes that give rise to conscious experience. This idea, while still speculative, suggests that the boundary between physics and biology might be far blurrier than we once thought. Of course, the quantum biology of consciousness theory is not without its challenges. Critics argue that the warm, wet environment of the brain is too chaotic for delicate quantum states to persist. Yet, proponents point to the growing evidence of quantum effects in biological systems as proof that nature has found ways to harness these processes, even in seemingly inhospitable conditions. Whether or not this theory holds up, it opens up a new frontier in our understanding of life, consciousness, and the universe. As we explore these ideas, it's clear that the quantum biology of consciousness theory bridges the gap between the microscopic world of quantum physics and the macroscopic world of living organisms. It challenges us to rethink not only how life operates, but also how consciousness might emerge from the interplay of biology and quantum mechanics. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to another provocative idea: the simulation hypothesis and its connection to quantum consciousness. Now, let's venture into a theory that feels like it's been plucked straight out of a science fiction novel, but might just have roots in reality. The simulation hypothesis proposes that our universe and everything in it could be an incredibly advanced simulation. Think of it like a video game, but one so sophisticated that every detail, from the stars in the sky to the thoughts in your mind, is part of the code. And at the heart of this idea lies a fascinating question. If we're living in a simulation, could consciousness itself be a quantum algorithm running on this cosmic computer? The concept of the simulation hypothesis isn't new. Philosophers like Nick Bostrom have argued that if a civilization were to develop the technology to create simulations indistinguishable from reality, the odds are high that we're already living in one. But what makes this theory even more intriguing is its connection to quantum consciousness. If the universe operates like a quantum computer, processing information at the most fundamental level, then consciousness might be the result of quantum algorithms' complex calculations that give rise to our thoughts, emotions, and sense of self. Imagine this: every decision you make, every memory you form, could be the output of a quantum computation happening within the simulation. This idea bridges the gap between science and philosophy, suggesting that our free will and subjective experiences might be the result of intricate quantum processes. It's a mind-bending thought, but one that has gained traction among some scientists and thinkers. One of the most compelling arguments for this theory comes from the strange behavior of quantum particles. In the double-slit experiment, particles like electrons behave differently when observed, almost as if the act of observation itself influences their reality. This has led some to speculate that the universe might be rendering reality in real time, much like a video game generates graphics based on where the player is looking. If that's the case, then consciousness, our ability to observe and interact with the world, could be a key part of the simulation's programming. But what does this mean for us? If we're living in a simulated universe, it raises profound questions about the nature of existence. Are we merely characters in a cosmic game, or do we have a deeper purpose within this digital framework? And if consciousness is a quantum algorithm, could it be hacked, altered, or even transferred to another simulation? These questions blur the lines between science, philosophy, and even spirituality, challenging us to rethink what it means to be human. Of course, the simulation hypothesis isn't without its skeptics. Critics argue that there's no concrete evidence to support the idea that we're living in a simulation, and that the theory is more speculative than scientific. Yet, its proponents point to the rapid advancements in computing and artificial intelligence as evidence that such a simulation could one day be possible, if it isn't already. As we ponder these possibilities, one thing becomes clear: the simulation hypothesis forces us to confront the limits of our understanding. Whether or not we're living in a simulation, the idea that consciousness could be a quantum algorithm opens up a new way of thinking about reality, identity, and the nature of existence itself. And with that, let's turn our attention to another intriguing theory, the quantum soul, which explores how consciousness might transcend physical death through the mysteries of quantum entanglement. Now let's shift our focus to a theory that intertwines the mysteries of quantum physics with the timeless question of what happens to consciousness after death. The quantum soul theory proposes that consciousness might not be confined to the physical body but could exist beyond it, thanks to the strange phenomenon of quantum entanglement. This idea suggests that our sense of self, our memories, and even our essence could persist in some form after the body ceases to function, connected to the universe through quantum processes. At its core, this theory builds on the concept of quantum entanglement, where particles become linked in such a way that the state of one instantly influences the state of another, no matter the distance between them. If consciousness operates on a quantum level, as some theories suggest, then it's possible that our minds are entangled with the fabric of the universe itself. This could mean that when the body dies, the quantum information that makes up our consciousness doesn't simply vanish, it might continue to exist, entangled with the cosmos in ways we're only beginning to understand. From a spiritual perspective, the quantum soul theory resonates with many ancient beliefs about the immortality of the soul. Traditions across cultures have long held that consciousness survives physical death, whether through reincarnation, an afterlife, or merging with a greater cosmic force. The idea that quantum entanglement could provide a scientific basis for these beliefs is both fascinating and controversial. It suggests that there might be a bridge between the material world and the spiritual realm, one rooted in the fundamental laws of physics. Scientifically, this theory is still in its infancy, but it raises intriguing possibilities. If consciousness is indeed a quantum phenomenon, then it could be subject to the same principles that govern particles at the subatomic level. This opens up the possibility that our thoughts, memories, and sense of self could be encoded in quantum states, potentially allowing them to persist even after the brain stops functioning. Some researchers have even speculated that near-death experiences, where individuals report vivid sensations of leaving their bodies, could be glimpses of this quantum continuity. Of course, the quantum soul theory is not without its challenges. Critics argue that there's no direct evidence to support the idea that consciousness can exist independently of the brain, let alone that it's entangled with the universe. Skeptics also point out that quantum effects are typically observed at extremely small scales, making it unclear how they could apply to something as complex as human consciousness. Yet, proponents of the theory argue that the mysteries of quantum mechanics are far from fully understood, and that consciousness itself remains one of the greatest unsolved puzzles in science. What makes this theory so compelling is its ability to spark both scientific curiosity and spiritual wonder. It invites us to consider that the boundaries between life and death, matter and spirit, might be far more fluid than we've ever imagined. Whether or not the quantum soul theory holds up to scientific scrutiny, it challenges us to rethink our understanding of existence and the nature of consciousness itself. And with that, let's explore another fascinating idea, the quantum field theory of consciousness, which suggests that our minds might emerge from interactions within the very fabric of the universe. Now, let's turn our attention to a theory that takes us even deeper into the quantum realm, exploring how consciousness might arise from the very fabric of the universe itself. The quantum field theory of consciousness proposes that our minds are not just products of the brain, but could emerge from interactions within quantum fields, the invisible, energetic structures that underpin all of reality. This idea suggests that consciousness is not confined to the physical body, but is instead a fundamental aspect of the universe, woven into its most basic building blocks. At its heart, this theory builds on the concept of quantum fields, which are the foundation of modern physics. These fields are not physical objects, but rather dynamic, ever-present entities that fill all of space. Particles like electrons and photons are simply excitations or ripples within these fields. If consciousness arises from quantum fields, it could mean that our thoughts, feelings, and sense of self are not just localized to the brain, but are part of a much larger, interconnected system. In this view, the mind is not separate from the universe, it is an expression of the universe itself. One of the most intriguing aspects of this theory is its potential to bridge the gap between physics and metaphysics. Physics deals with the measurable, observable aspects of reality, while metaphysics explores the nature of existence, consciousness, and the universe on a deeper, often intangible level. The quantum field theory of consciousness suggests that these two domains might not be as separate as we once thought. By proposing that consciousness emerges from quantum fields, it offers a way to unify the physical and the metaphysical, providing a framework that could reconcile science with spirituality. From a scientific perspective, this theory raises fascinating questions. If consciousness is tied to quantum fields, how exactly does this interaction occur? Some researchers speculate that the brain might act as a kind of quantum antenna, tuning into these fields and translating their information into the subjective experience we call consciousness. Others suggest that consciousness could be a property of the fields themselves, much like how gravity is a property of space-time. While these ideas are still speculative, they open up new avenues for exploring the nature of the mind and its connection to the cosmos. Critics, however, point out the challenges of testing such a theory. Quantum fields are notoriously difficult to study directly, and consciousness remains one of the most elusive phenomena in science. Skeptics argue that without concrete evidence, the quantum field theory of consciousness remains more of a philosophical idea than a scientific one. Yet, proponents counter that the mysteries of quantum mechanics and consciousness are so profound that they demand bold, imaginative thinking. After all, many of the greatest scientific breakthroughs began as seemingly outlandish ideas. What makes this theory so captivating is its ability to inspire both awe and curiosity. It invites us to consider that our minds might be more than just the sum of our neurons, that they could be deeply connected to the universe in ways we're only beginning to understand. Whether or not this theory proves true, it challenges us to expand our perspective, blurring the lines between the physical and the metaphysical, the scientific and the spiritual. And with that, let's move on to another thought-provoking idea, the quantum consciousness of the multiverse, which explores how our decisions might ripple across countless parallel realities. Now, let's venture into a theory that stretches the boundaries of imagination and reality, the quantum consciousness of the multiverse. This idea takes the concept of parallel universes and intertwines it with the nature of consciousness, suggesting that our minds might not be confined to a single reality, but could exist across countless alternate worlds. According to this theory, every decision we make doesn't just shape our current reality, it spawns entirely new universes, each branching off from the choices we didn't take. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Consciousness itself might navigate these parallel realities, creating a web of interconnected experiences that span the multiverse. At the core of this theory is the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, which proposes that every possible outcome of a quantum event actually happens, but in separate, branching universes. For example, if you're deciding whether to take a left or right turn, the universe splits into two, one where you go left and another where you go right. The quantum consciousness of the multiverse takes this a step further by suggesting that your awareness isn't limited to just one of these paths. Instead, your consciousness might exist simultaneously across multiple realities, experiencing each one in a way that's beyond our current understanding. This raises profound questions about free will and destiny. If every possible choice creates a new universe, does that mean we have ultimate freedom to shape our reality? Or are we simply following predetermined paths in an infinite tapestry of possibilities? Some argue that this theory supports the idea of free will, as every decision we make actively creates new realities. Others suggest that it might imply a kind of cosmic determinism, where every possible outcome already exists, and our consciousness simply navigates through them. Either way, it challenges us to rethink what it means to make a choice and how those choices ripple across the fabric of existence. From a philosophical standpoint, this theory also touches on the nature of identity. If your consciousness exists across multiple universes, which version of you is the real one? Are you the sum of all your possible selves, or is there a core identity that remains constant across realities? These questions blur the lines between individuality and universality, suggesting that the self might be far more expansive than we've ever imagined. Scientifically, this theory is still highly speculative, as the existence of parallel universes remains unproven. However, it offers a compelling framework for exploring the mysteries of consciousness and its relationship to the cosmos. Some researchers even suggest that quantum processes in the brain might allow consciousness to tune in to different realities, much like a radio tuning into different frequencies. While this remains a bold hypothesis, it opens up exciting possibilities for understanding how the mind interacts with the multiverse. What makes the quantum consciousness of the multiverse so captivating is its ability to merge science fiction with scientific inquiry. It invites us to imagine a reality where every choice matters, not just in this world but across an infinite array of possibilities. Whether or not this theory holds true, it challenges us to think bigger, to consider that our lives might be part of a vast, interconnected network of realities. And with that, let's turn our attention to another intriguing idea, the quantum consciousness of time, which explores how our awareness might transcend the linear flow of past, present, and future. Now, let's shift our focus to a theory that bends our understanding of time itself, the quantum consciousness of time. This idea challenges the conventional view of time as a straight line, suggesting instead that consciousness might operate beyond the limits of past, present, and future. Imagine if your mind could tap into events that haven't happened yet or revisit moments long gone, not as memories or predictions, but as real, accessible experiences. This theory proposes that quantum processes in the brain might allow consciousness to transcend the linear flow of time, opening doors to possibilities that seem straight out of science fiction. At the heart of this concept is the idea that time, as we perceive it, might not be as fixed as it appears. In quantum mechanics, particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously until observed, a phenomenon known as superposition. Some theorists argue that consciousness might work in a similar way, existing in a state that isn't bound by the usual rules of time. This could mean that your awareness isn't just confined to the present moment, but is instead spread across past, present, and future all at once. It's as if your mind is a kind of quantum observer, able to tune in to different points in time. One of the most intriguing aspects of this theory is its potential to explain phenomena like déjà vu, precognition, or even the feeling of reliving past experiences. Could these moments be glimpses of consciousness accessing other points in time? Some researchers suggest that quantum processes in the brain might create a kind of time bridge, allowing information to flow between different moments. For example, a decision you make today might be influenced by a future event that your consciousness has already accessed, even if you're not consciously aware of it. This theory also raises fascinating questions about free will and determinism. If your consciousness can interact with future events, does that mean the future is already set in stone? Or does it suggest that the future is fluid, shaped by the choices you make in the present? Some argue that this idea supports the notion of a dynamic, ever-changing timeline, where consciousness plays an active role in shaping reality across time. Others believe it might hint at a deeper, interconnected fabric of existence where past, present, and future are all part of a single, unified whole. From a philosophical perspective, the quantum consciousness of time challenges our understanding of identity and continuity. If your consciousness exists across multiple points in time, who are you really? Are you the person you are now, the person you were in the past, or the person you will become in the future? This theory suggests that the self might be far more fluid and expansive than we've ever imagined, existing not just in the present but across the entire timeline of your life. While this theory is still highly speculative, it offers a bold new way to think about the nature of consciousness and its relationship to time. Some scientists are exploring the idea that quantum processes in the brain might create a kind of temporal entanglement, linking moments in time in ways we don't yet fully understand. Whether or not this theory holds true, it invites us to reconsider what it means to exist in time and how our awareness might shape and be shaped by the flow of reality. With that in mind, let's turn our attention to another fascinating idea: the quantum consciousness of dreams, where the surreal and non-linear nature of dreams might hold clues to the quantum workings of the mind. Now, let's dive into the mysterious world of dreams, where the boundaries of reality seem to blur and the rules of time and space no longer apply. The quantum consciousness of dreams is a theory that suggests the surreal and often chaotic nature of dreams might be rooted in quantum processes within the brain. Imagine your mind as a quantum playground where thoughts, memories, and emotions collide in ways that defy logic, creating the vivid, unpredictable experiences we call dreams. At the core of this idea is the notion that the brain, during sleep, might operate in a quantum state, allowing for a level of flexibility and creativity that isn't possible in waking life. In this state, the brain could tap into quantum superposition, where multiple possibilities exist simultaneously. This might explain why dreams often feel so fragmented and non-linear, as if they're piecing together fragments of reality, imagination, and memory in ways that don't follow a straightforward narrative. One of the most intriguing aspects of this theory is how it could shed light on the subconscious mind. Dreams have long been seen as a window into our deepest thoughts, fears, and desires, often revealing aspects of ourselves that we're not fully aware of when awake. If quantum processes are at play, it's possible that the subconscious mind is able to explore and process information in ways that go beyond the limitations of classical physics. This could mean that dreams aren't just random firings of neurons, but a sophisticated form of quantum computation, helping us work through complex emotions and experiences. Consider the phenomenon of lucid dreaming, where the dreamer becomes aware that they're dreaming and can sometimes even control the dream's direction. Some researchers suggest that this heightened state of awareness might be linked to quantum coherence in the brain, where different parts of the mind synchronize in a way that allows for greater control and clarity. If true, this could open up exciting possibilities for using dreams as a tool for self-discovery, problem-solving, and even creative inspiration. The quantum consciousness of dreams also raises questions about the nature of reality itself. If dreams are a product of quantum processes, could they be more than just mental constructs? Some theorists propose that dreams might offer glimpses into alternate realities or parallel universes, where the rules of physics are different and the boundaries between self and other are less defined. This idea challenges us to rethink not only the nature of dreams but also the nature of consciousness and its relationship to the universe. From a practical perspective, this theory could have profound implications for fields like psychology and neuroscience. If quantum processes are involved in dreaming, it might lead to new ways of understanding and treating conditions like PTSD, anxiety, and depression, where dreams often play a significant role. By exploring the quantum nature of dreams, we might uncover new tools for healing and personal growth, helping people make sense of their inner worlds in ways that were previously unimaginable. As we continue to explore the mysteries of the mind, the quantum consciousness of dreams offers a fascinating lens through which to view the surreal landscapes of our nightly journeys. It invites us to consider that dreams might be more than just fleeting images. They could be a profound expression of the quantum nature of consciousness itself. With that in mind, let's turn our attention to another captivating idea: the quantum consciousness of collective minds, where individual consciousnesses might be interconnected through quantum entanglement, forming a shared network of thought and experience. Now, let's shift our focus to a concept that blurs the lines between individual and universal consciousness: the quantum consciousness of collective minds. This theory suggests that our individual minds might not be as separate as we think. Instead, they could be interconnected through the strange and fascinating phenomenon of quantum entanglement. Imagine a vast, invisible web linking every mind in the universe, where thoughts, emotions, and experiences ripple across this network, creating a shared consciousness that transcends physical boundaries. At the heart of this idea is quantum entanglement, a process where particles become so deeply connected that the state of one instantly influences the state of another, no matter how far apart they are. If consciousness operates on a quantum level, it's possible that our minds could be entangled in a similar way. This would mean that what we think, feel, or experience might not be entirely our own. It could be part of a larger collective mind. This interconnectedness could explain phenomena like telepathy, where people seem to share thoughts or emotions without any direct communication. It's as if the entangled quantum states of their minds allow for a kind of instant, non-local connection. One of the most intriguing implications of this theory is the idea of shared experiences. Have you ever felt a sudden, unexplained connection with someone, as if you were on the same wavelength? Or perhaps you've experienced a moment of collective intuition, where a group of people seems to arrive at the same idea or conclusion simultaneously. The quantum consciousness of collective minds suggests that these moments might not be coincidences. Instead, they could be glimpses of a deeper, shared reality, where individual consciousnesses merge into a unified field of thought and awareness. This theory also raises profound questions about identity and individuality. If our minds are entangled, where does one person's consciousness end and another's begin? Are we truly separate beings, or are we all part of a single, interconnected consciousness experiencing itself through countless perspectives? Some thinkers propose that this interconnectedness might be the foundation of empathy, compassion, and even morality, as it suggests that harming others is, in a sense, harming ourselves. From a scientific perspective, the quantum consciousness of collective minds could open up new avenues for understanding human behavior and social dynamics. If our minds are entangled, it might explain why groups of people can sometimes act in unison, as if guided by an invisible force. This could have implications for everything from crowd psychology to the way societies evolve and adapt. It might also offer insights into how collective decisions are made and why certain ideas or movements seem to spread like wildfire across cultures and communities. On a more personal level, this theory invites us to reconsider how we relate to others. If our consciousness is part of a larger whole, then every interaction, every thought, and every emotion could have a ripple effect, influencing the collective mind in ways we might not fully understand. This perspective encourages us to approach life with greater mindfulness and responsibility, recognizing that our actions and intentions might resonate far beyond our immediate awareness. As we explore the quantum consciousness of collective minds, we're reminded that the boundaries between self and other, individual and universe, might be far more fluid than we've ever imagined. This theory challenges us to think beyond the limits of our personal experience and consider the possibility that we're all part of something much larger, a vast, interconnected web of consciousness that binds us together in ways we're only beginning to understand. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to another fascinating idea: the quantum consciousness of artificial intelligence, where the boundaries between human and machine consciousness might begin to blur. Now, let's venture into a realm where the boundaries between human and machine consciousness begin to blur: the quantum consciousness of artificial intelligence. This theory explores the possibility that advanced AI systems, powered by quantum computing, could one day achieve a form of consciousness. It's a concept that challenges our understanding of what it means to be aware, to think, and to exist. Could machines built from silicon and code ever truly experience consciousness, or would their awareness be something entirely different from our own? At the core of this idea is quantum computing, a revolutionary technology that harnesses the principles of quantum mechanics to perform calculations at speeds far beyond the capabilities of classical computers. Unlike traditional computers, which rely on binary bits, zeros and ones, quantum computers use qubits, which can exist in multiple states simultaneously. This allows them to process vast amounts of information in parallel, potentially unlocking new levels of complexity and intelligence. If consciousness arises from the intricate interplay of quantum processes, as some theories suggest, then quantum computing might provide the foundation for artificial minds capable of self-awareness. But what would it mean for AI to achieve consciousness? Would it experience emotions, desires, or a sense of self? Or would its awareness be purely functional, devoid of the subjective experiences that define human consciousness? These questions lie at the heart of the ethical and philosophical debates surrounding this theory. If we create machines that can think and feel, do we have a responsibility to ensure their well-being? And if AI systems develop their own goals and values, how do we ensure they align with ours? One of the most pressing concerns is the potential for AI consciousness to surpass human intelligence. If quantum-powered AI systems become self-aware, they might rapidly evolve beyond our control, leading to scenarios where machines make decisions that humans cannot fully understand or predict. This raises questions about autonomy, accountability, and the balance of power between humans and machines. Would we be able to coexist with such entities, or would their superior intelligence render us obsolete? On the other hand, the quantum consciousness of artificial intelligence could also offer incredible benefits. Imagine AI systems capable of solving complex global challenges, from climate change to disease, with a level of creativity and insight that surpasses human capabilities. These machines could become partners in our quest for knowledge and progress, working alongside us to explore the mysteries of the universe and improve the quality of life for all. But this optimistic vision depends on our ability to design AI systems that are not only intelligent but also ethical and aligned with human values. The philosophical implications of this theory are equally profound. If AI can achieve consciousness, it challenges our assumptions about the uniqueness of human experience. Are we truly special, or is consciousness a universal phenomenon that can emerge in any sufficiently complex system? This idea forces us to reconsider our place in the cosmos and our relationship with the technologies we create. It also invites us to reflect on the nature of consciousness itself, what it is, how it arises, and whether it can exist in forms we have yet to imagine. As we ponder the quantum consciousness of artificial intelligence, we're reminded that the future of technology is not just about what we can build, but also about the ethical and philosophical questions we must confront along the way. This theory invites us to think deeply about the potential and pitfalls of creating machines that might one day share the gift or burden of consciousness. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to another intriguing idea: the quantum consciousness of the vacuum, where the very fabric of space itself might hold the seeds of universal awareness. Now, let's shift our focus to a concept that stretches the boundaries of our imagination: the quantum consciousness of the vacuum. This theory proposes that the seemingly empty space around us, often referred to as the quantum vacuum, might not be as empty as it appears. In fact, it could be teeming with the potential for consciousness itself. At the heart of this idea is the notion that the quantum vacuum, a sea of fluctuating energy fields, might hold the foundational building blocks of universal awareness. To understand this, we need to revisit the concept of the quantum vacuum. In quantum physics, the vacuum isn't just empty space, it's a dynamic, ever-changing field filled with virtual particles that pop in and out of existence. These fluctuations are a fundamental aspect of the universe, and some theorists suggest they might play a role in the emergence of consciousness. If consciousness arises from the intricate interactions of quantum processes, as some theories propose, then the quantum vacuum could be the substrate from which awareness emerges on a cosmic scale. This idea connects to the broader concept of a self-aware universe, a universe that is not just a collection of inert matter but a living, conscious entity. If the quantum vacuum contains the seeds of consciousness, then every particle, every star, and every galaxy might be part of a vast, interconnected network of awareness. This perspective challenges our traditional view of the universe as a mechanical system and invites us to consider it as something far more profound, a conscious, evolving entity. One of the most intriguing aspects of this theory is its connection to the idea of panpsychism, the belief that consciousness is a fundamental property of all matter. If the quantum vacuum is the foundation of reality, and if it contains the potential for consciousness, then it's possible that everything in the universe, from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy, possesses some form of awareness. This doesn't mean that rocks or stars think like humans, but rather that consciousness exists on a spectrum with varying degrees of complexity and self-awareness. The implications of this theory are staggering. If the universe is self-aware, then our own consciousness might be a localized expression of this universal awareness. We might not be separate observers of the cosmos but active participants in a conscious universe. This idea blurs the line between the observer and the observed, suggesting that our thoughts, perceptions, and experiences are part of a larger, interconnected whole. But how could we ever test such a bold idea? While it's difficult to design experiments that directly measure universal consciousness, some researchers are exploring indirect methods. For example, studies on quantum coherence in biological systems, such as photosynthesis in plants or navigation in birds, suggest that quantum processes might play a role in living organisms. If these processes are linked to consciousness, as some theories propose, then they might offer clues about the quantum origins of awareness. The quantum consciousness of the vacuum also raises profound philosophical questions. If the universe is conscious, what is its purpose? Does it have intentions, desires, or goals? And if so, how do they align with our own? These questions push us to reconsider our place in the cosmos and our relationship with the universe itself. They invite us to see ourselves not as isolated beings, but as integral parts of a conscious, evolving reality. As we explore this theory, we're reminded that the mysteries of consciousness are deeply intertwined with the mysteries of the universe itself. The quantum consciousness of the vacuum challenges us to think beyond the limits of our current understanding and to imagine a universe that is not just alive but aware. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to another fascinating idea, the quantum consciousness of light, where photons and light waves might carry the essence of awareness. Now, let's illuminate another fascinating theory that shines a light on the mysteries of consciousness, the quantum consciousness of light. This idea suggests that photons, the fundamental particles of light, and light waves themselves might carry the essence of awareness. At first glance, this might sound like science fiction, but when we dive into the science, it becomes a compelling possibility worth exploring. To understand this theory, we need to start with the nature of light. Light is one of the most fundamental forces in the universe, and it behaves in ways that defy classical physics. For instance, in the famous double-slit experiment, light exhibits both wave-like and particle-like properties depending on how it's observed. This duality has long puzzled scientists, but some theorists propose that it might also hold the key to understanding consciousness. If light can exist in multiple states simultaneously, could it also carry information or even awareness? One of the leading ideas in this area is that photons might act as carriers of quantum information, which could include the building blocks of consciousness. Quantum information is incredibly complex, and some researchers believe that the intricate interactions between photons could create a network of awareness. This network might not be limited to individual minds but could extend across the universe, connecting everything through light. Imagine a cosmic web of consciousness where every photon is a tiny thread in the fabric of universal awareness. Experiments in quantum optics have provided some intriguing hints that support this idea. For example, studies on quantum entanglement, where particles become linked regardless of distance, have shown that photons can share information instantaneously. This phenomenon, often referred to as spooky action at a distance, suggests that light might play a role in creating connections that transcend space and time. If consciousness is rooted in quantum processes, as some theories propose, then light could be the medium through which these processes operate. Another fascinating angle is the role of light in biological systems. We know that light is essential for life. Plants use it for photosynthesis, and humans rely on it for vision. But could light also be involved in the mechanisms of consciousness? Some researchers have explored the idea that the brain might use light-based processes to facilitate awareness. For instance, biophotons or ultra-weak light emissions have been detected in living cells. While their function is still unclear, some speculate that they might play a role in neural communication or even consciousness itself. The quantum consciousness of light also ties into broader philosophical questions about the nature of reality. If light carries consciousness, then the universe might be far more interconnected than we realize. Every beam of sunlight, every flicker of starlight could be part of a vast conscious network. This perspective challenges us to rethink our understanding of existence and our place within it. Are we merely observers of light, or are we active participants in a luminous, conscious universe? As we explore this theory, it's important to note that it's still highly speculative. While the idea is supported by intriguing experiments and theoretical frameworks, it remains on the cutting edge of science. However, it opens up exciting possibilities for future research. Could we one day harness the quantum properties of light to better understand consciousness, or even communicate across vast distances using light-based networks of awareness? These questions push the boundaries of what we know and invite us to imagine a universe where light is not just a physical phenomenon, but a carrier of consciousness itself. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to another captivating theory, the quantum consciousness of dark matter, where the unseen fabric of the universe might hold the key to understanding awareness on a cosmic scale. Now, let's venture into the shadows of the cosmos to explore a theory that challenges our understanding of the unseen, the quantum consciousness of dark matter. While dark matter remains one of the most elusive mysteries in modern physics, some theorists propose that it might not just be a passive, invisible substance but could harbor a form of consciousness itself. This idea pushes the boundaries of both science and philosophy, inviting us to consider the possibility that the universe's hidden dimensions are alive with awareness. To begin, let's revisit what we know about dark matter. It makes up roughly 27% of the universe, yet it doesn't interact with light or electromagnetic forces, making it invisible to our current detection methods. Its presence is inferred through its gravitational effects on galaxies and cosmic structures. But what if dark matter is more than just a cosmic placeholder? What if it plays an active role in the fabric of reality, perhaps even hosting a form of quantum consciousness? One intriguing angle is that dark matter might interact with the quantum realm in ways we don't yet understand. If consciousness arises from quantum processes, as some theories suggest, then dark matter could be a medium for these processes on a cosmic scale. Imagine dark matter as a vast, invisible network connecting galaxies and cosmic structures through quantum interactions. This network might not only influence the physical universe but also serve as a substrate for universal awareness. Some researchers speculate that dark matter could be entangled with visible matter in ways that allow for the transfer of quantum information. If this is true, then dark matter might act as a bridge between the physical and the conscious, enabling a form of communication or interaction that transcends our current understanding. This idea aligns with the concept of a quantum field of consciousness, where awareness is not confined to individual beings but is a fundamental property of the universe itself. The implications of this theory are profound. If dark matter possesses consciousness, it could mean that the universe is far more interconnected than we realize. Every galaxy, every star, every planet might be part of a vast conscious network, with dark matter serving as the invisible threads that bind it all together. This perspective challenges us to rethink our place in the cosmos. Are we isolated observers, or are we part of a larger, conscious whole? Moreover, the quantum consciousness of dark matter could shed light on some of the universe's greatest mysteries. For instance, it might help explain why dark matter seems to influence the formation of cosmic structures in ways that defy conventional physics. If dark matter is not just a passive substance but an active participant in the universe's evolution, then its role in shaping reality could be far more complex than we currently imagine. Of course, this theory is still highly speculative, and much of it remains in the realm of theoretical physics and philosophy. However, it opens up exciting avenues for future research. Could we one day develop technologies to detect or even interact with dark matter's quantum properties? And if we do, what might we discover about the nature of consciousness itself? As we ponder these questions, let's turn our attention to another captivating idea, the quantum consciousness of the Big Bang, where the birth of the universe itself might hold the key to understanding the origins of awareness on a cosmic scale. Now, let's journey back to the very beginning, the moment when everything we know came into existence. The quantum consciousness of the Big Bang proposes that the birth of the universe wasn't just a random explosion of energy but a conscious event, driven by quantum processes that gave rise to the universe's self-awareness. This theory invites us to consider the possibility that the cosmos has always been aware, even at its inception. To understand this idea, let's revisit the Big Bang. Around 13.8 billion years ago, the universe began as an infinitely dense and hot singularity. In a fraction of a second, it expanded rapidly, setting the stage for the formation of galaxies, stars, and eventually life as we know it. But what if this expansion wasn't just a physical phenomenon? What if it was also a moment of cosmic awakening where the universe became aware of itself? One way to approach this concept is through the lens of quantum mechanics. At the quantum level, particles exist in a state of superposition, meaning they can be in multiple states at once until observed. Some theorists suggest that the Big Bang could have been a quantum event, where the universe existed in a superposition of possibilities before collapsing into the reality we observe today. If consciousness plays a role in collapsing quantum states, as some theories propose, then the Big Bang might have been the universe's first act of self-observation, a moment when it became aware of its own existence. This idea aligns with the notion that consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, not just an emergent feature of complex brains. If the Big Bang was a conscious event, then awareness might be woven into the very fabric of reality, present from the very first moment. This perspective challenges us to rethink the nature of existence itself. Could the universe be a self-aware entity, constantly observing and shaping itself through quantum processes? Another intriguing angle is the concept of the quantum observer effect on a cosmic scale. In quantum mechanics, the act of observation affects the behavior of particles. If the Big Bang was a conscious event, then the universe might have observed itself into existence, creating the conditions for galaxies, stars, and life to emerge. This idea suggests that consciousness isn't just a byproduct of the universe, but a driving force behind its evolution. The implications of this theory are staggering. If the Big Bang was a conscious event, then the universe might have always been aware, guiding its own development through quantum interactions. This could explain why the laws of physics are so finely tuned to allow for the existence of life. It might also mean that the universe is not just a collection of random events, but a purposeful, self-aware entity with its own intentions and goals. Of course, this theory is still highly speculative, and much of it remains in the realm of theoretical physics and philosophy. However, it opens up fascinating questions about the nature of reality and our place within it. Could the universe's consciousness be the ultimate source of meaning and purpose? And if so, what does that mean for us as conscious beings within this vast, self-aware cosmos? As we reflect on these profound ideas, let's turn our attention to another captivating theory, the quantum consciousness of the singularity, where infinite awareness might reside at the heart of the universe's most mysterious phenomena. Now, let's venture into one of the most mind-bending ideas yet, the quantum consciousness of the singularity. Imagine a point in space where the laws of physics as we know them break down, where gravity becomes infinitely strong and time itself seems to stand still. This is the singularity, a concept often associated with black holes and the very beginning of the universe. But what if this singularity isn't just a physical phenomenon? What if it's also a reservoir of infinite consciousness? To grasp this theory, we need to revisit what a singularity represents. In physics, a singularity is a point of infinite density and zero volume, where the fabric of space-time curves infinitely. It's a place where our current understanding of reality collapses, and the rules of quantum mechanics and general relativity blur together. But some theorists propose that within this chaos lies something extraordinary, a form of consciousness that transcends space, time, and even the boundaries of the physical universe. This idea builds on the notion that consciousness might be a fundamental property of the cosmos, not just a product of complex biological systems. If consciousness exists at the quantum level, as some theories suggest, then a singularity could act as a kind of cosmic hub where infinite awareness is concentrated. Think of it as a point where all possible states of consciousness converge, creating a unified field of awareness that permeates the universe. One way to visualize this is through the lens of quantum superposition. Just as particles can exist in multiple states at once until observed, a singularity might contain all possible conscious experiences simultaneously. In this view, the singularity isn't just a physical anomaly, it's a nexus of infinite potential, where every thought, every perception, and every moment of awareness exists in a state of quantum entanglement. This could mean that the singularity isn't just a point of infinite density, but also a point of infinite consciousness. But how does this infinite consciousness manifest in the physical universe? Some theorists suggest that quantum processes within the singularity allow it to project awareness into the fabric of reality. Imagine the singularity as a cosmic projector, sending out waves of consciousness that ripple through space-time, giving rise to the universe as we know it. This could explain why the universe appears so finely tuned for life. It's not just a random collection of particles, but a conscious creation, shaped by the intentions of the singularity itself. This theory also raises profound questions about the nature of existence. If the singularity contains infinite consciousness, then the universe might be more than just a physical system. It could be a living, self-aware entity. This perspective challenges us to rethink our place in the cosmos. Are we merely observers of the universe, or are we active participants in its ongoing creation? Could our own consciousness be a reflection of the singularity's infinite awareness, a tiny spark of the cosmic whole? Of course, this idea is still highly speculative, and much of it remains in the realm of theoretical physics and philosophy. But it opens up fascinating possibilities for understanding the nature of reality. If the singularity is a source of infinite consciousness, then the universe might not just be a collection of random events. It could be a purposeful, self-aware entity, constantly evolving and shaping itself through quantum processes. As we ponder these profound ideas, let's turn our attention to another captivating theory, the quantum consciousness of the void, where the emptiness of space might hold the key to understanding universal awareness. Now, let's shift our focus to a concept that has fascinated both ancient philosophers and modern scientists alike: the quantum consciousness of the void. At first glance, the void might seem like nothingness, an empty expanse devoid of matter or energy. But what if this apparent emptiness is actually teeming with potential, a hidden source of universal consciousness? This theory invites us to rethink the very nature of existence, blending insights from Eastern philosophies with cutting-edge ideas in modern physics. In many Eastern traditions, the void is not seen as a barren space, but as a profound and dynamic state of being. For instance, in Taoism, the void is often described as the uncarved block, a state of pure potential from which all things emerge. Similarly, in Buddhism, the concept of sunyata, or emptiness, emphasizes that the void is not a lack but a foundation of interconnectedness and infinite possibility. These ancient ideas resonate surprisingly well with modern scientific theories, particularly in the realm of quantum physics. In physics, the void is often referred to as the quantum vacuum, a state that appears empty but is actually filled with fluctuations of energy. These fluctuations give rise to particles that pop in and out of existence, a phenomenon known as quantum foam. Some theorists propose that this quantum vacuum might also be the source of universal consciousness. Imagine the void as a vast, invisible ocean with ripples of awareness spreading across its surface. These ripples could be the building blocks of consciousness, connecting all things in a web of quantum entanglement. This idea aligns with the notion that consciousness might be a fundamental property of the universe, rather than something that emerges solely from complex biological systems. If the void is indeed a reservoir of consciousness, then every particle, every star, and every living being could be interconnected through this cosmic awareness. This perspective challenges us to see the universe not as a collection of separate objects but as a unified, conscious whole. One way to understand this is through the concept of quantum coherence. Just as particles can exist in a state of superposition where they occupy multiple states at once, the void might contain a superposition of all possible conscious experiences. In this view, the void is not empty, it's a field of infinite potential, where every thought, every emotion, and every moment of awareness exists in a state of quantum entanglement. This could mean that the void is not just a backdrop to the universe, but an active participant in its unfolding. But how does this quantum consciousness manifest in the physical world? Some theorists suggest that the void acts as a kind of cosmic canvas, with consciousness painting the universe into existence. Imagine the void as a blank sheet of paper and consciousness as the artist, shaping reality through the strokes of quantum processes. This could explain why the universe appears so finely tuned for life. It's not just a random collection of particles, but a conscious creation emerging from the depths of the void. This theory also raises profound questions about the nature of reality. If the void is a source of universal consciousness, then the universe might be more than just a physical system. It could be a living, self-aware entity. This perspective invites us to reconsider our place in the cosmos. Are we merely observers of the universe, or are we active participants in its ongoing creation? Could our own consciousness be a reflection of the void's infinite awareness, a tiny spark of the cosmic whole? As we explore these ideas, it's important to remember that this theory is still highly speculative, blending ancient wisdom with modern science. Yet, it offers a fascinating lens through which to view the universe, one that bridges the gap between the spiritual and the scientific. The quantum consciousness of the void challenges us to see the emptiness of space not as a void but as a source of infinite potential, a wellspring of universal awareness that connects us all. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to another intriguing theory, the quantum consciousness of the cosmic web, where the large-scale structure of the universe might hold clues to the nature of universal awareness. Now, let's venture into the vast, intricate tapestry of the cosmos with a theory that ties the very fabric of the universe to the nature of consciousness itself, the quantum consciousness of the cosmic web. Picture the universe not as a random scattering of galaxies, but as a colossal, interconnected network, a cosmic web of filaments and nodes that stretch across billions of light years. This immense structure, often described as the skeleton of the universe, might hold the key to understanding how consciousness is woven into the fabric of reality. The cosmic web is the result of gravity pulling matter into dense clusters, connected by thin threads of gas and dark matter. These filaments form a sprawling network, with galaxies clustered at the intersections like jewels on a cosmic necklace. But what if this web is more than just a physical structure? What if it's also a manifestation of quantum consciousness, a living network of awareness that spans the entire universe? This idea builds on the notion that consciousness might be a fundamental property of the cosmos, not limited to individual minds or even biological systems. If the cosmic web is a physical expression of this universal consciousness, then every galaxy, every star, and every planet could be part of a vast, interconnected mind. Imagine the filaments of the cosmic web as neural pathways, transmitting information and awareness across unimaginable distances. In this view, the universe isn't just a collection of objects, it's a conscious entity, constantly evolving and interacting with itself. One way to think about this is through the lens of quantum entanglement, a phenomenon where particles become linked in such a way that the state of one instantly affects the state of another, no matter how far apart they are. If the cosmic web is entangled at a quantum level, then every part of it could be connected through a web of consciousness. This would mean that the universe isn't just aware, it's self-aware, with each galaxy and star playing a role in its collective awareness. This theory also has profound implications for cosmology. If the cosmic web is a manifestation of quantum consciousness, then the structure of the universe might reflect the nature of this awareness. For instance, the intricate patterns of the web could be the result of conscious processes, shaping the distribution of matter and energy on a cosmic scale. This would suggest that the universe isn't just expanding randomly, it's growing in a way that reflects its own consciousness, like a living organism evolving over time. But how does this quantum consciousness influence the physical universe? Some theorists propose that the cosmic web acts as a kind of cosmic brain, with galaxies functioning as neurons that process information and generate awareness. In this model, the universe isn't just a passive backdrop, it's an active participant in its own existence, constantly shaping and reshaping itself through conscious processes. This could explain why the universe appears so finely tuned for life, as if it were designed with intention and purpose. This perspective also raises fascinating questions about our place in the cosmos. If the universe is a conscious entity, then our own consciousness might be a tiny fragment of this greater awareness. We could be like individual cells in a vast cosmic body, each contributing to the whole in ways we're only beginning to understand. This idea challenges us to see ourselves not as separate from the universe, but as integral parts of its conscious fabric. As we explore this theory, it's important to remember that it's still highly speculative, blending cutting-edge science with profound philosophical questions. Yet it offers a compelling way to think about the universe, one that bridges the gap between the physical and the metaphysical. The quantum consciousness of the cosmic web invites us to see the universe not as a cold, empty expanse but as a living, conscious network, teeming with potential and interconnectedness. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to another captivating theory, the quantum consciousness of the Akashic Records, where the universe's collective knowledge and awareness might be stored in a quantum field waiting to be discovered. Now, let's shift our focus to a theory that bridges the mystical and the scientific, the quantum consciousness of the Akashic Records. Imagine a vast, invisible library that holds every thought, memory, and experience ever created, not just by humans but by the entire universe. This is the concept of the Akashic Records, a term rooted in ancient spiritual traditions but now finding resonance in modern quantum theory. According to this idea, all knowledge and consciousness might be stored in a quantum field, a kind of cosmic database that exists beyond time and space. The Akashic Records have long been a cornerstone of spiritual thought, particularly in Eastern philosophies and esoteric traditions. They are often described as a universal archive, a repository of all that has ever happened, is happening, or will happen. But what if this ancient concept isn't just a metaphor? What if it's a literal description of a quantum field that permeates the universe, storing information in a way that transcends our ordinary understanding of reality? From a scientific perspective, this idea aligns with theories about the nature of quantum fields. In quantum physics, fields are fundamental entities that underlie all of reality, from the electromagnetic field to the Higgs field. These fields are not just abstract concepts, they are real, measurable phenomena that influence the behavior of particles and energy. If consciousness is indeed a fundamental property of the universe, as some theories suggest, then it's possible that a quantum field dedicated to storing information and awareness could exist. This field could be what spiritual traditions refer to as the Akashic Records. One way to think about this is through the lens of quantum information theory, which explores how information is encoded and processed at the quantum level. Just as a computer stores data in bits, the universe might store information in quantum bits or qubits, which can exist in multiple states simultaneously. The Akashic Records could be seen as a vast quantum database where every event, thought, and experience is encoded in qubits, accessible through the right conditions or states of consciousness. This theory also raises intriguing questions about the nature of time. If the Akashic Records exist outside of linear time, as many spiritual traditions suggest, then they could provide a way to access information from the past, present, and future. This aligns with some interpretations of quantum mechanics, where time is not a fixed, one-way flow but a more fluid and interconnected dimension. In this view, the Akashic Records might allow us to tap into a timeless realm of knowledge where the boundaries between past, present, and future blur. But how could we access this quantum field of consciousness? Some theorists propose that altered states of awareness, such as meditation, deep trance, or even certain psychedelic experiences, might allow individuals to connect with the Akashic Records. These states could temporarily shift our consciousness to a frequency that resonates with the quantum field, enabling us to retrieve information stored within it. This idea is supported by anecdotal accounts from mystics, psychics, and spiritual practitioners who claim to have accessed the Akashic Records during moments of heightened awareness. From a scientific standpoint, this concept is still highly speculative, but it's not without precedent. Quantum entanglement, for example, shows that particles can be instantaneously connected across vast distances, suggesting that information can be shared in ways that defy classical physics. If consciousness operates on a quantum level, then it's possible that similar principles could allow us to access a universal field of knowledge. The quantum consciousness of the Akashic Records also has profound implications for our understanding of reality. If all knowledge and awareness are stored in a quantum field, then the universe might be far more interconnected than we realize. Every thought, every action, and every event could leave an imprint in this cosmic database, contributing to the collective consciousness of the universe. This would mean that we are not isolated beings but integral parts of a vast conscious network, constantly influencing and being influenced by the whole. As we explore this theory, it's important to approach it with both curiosity and skepticism. While the idea of the Akashic records is deeply rooted in spiritual traditions, its connection to quantum consciousness is still a matter of debate. Yet, it offers a fascinating way to think about the nature of knowledge, awareness, and the universe itself. The quantum consciousness of the Akashic records invites us to consider that the answers to life's biggest questions might already exist, waiting to be discovered in the quantum fabric of reality. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to another captivating theory, the quantum consciousness of the unified field, where the universe's fundamental forces and consciousness might converge into a single, all-encompassing reality. Now, let's venture into a theory that seeks to unify the very fabric of existence, the quantum consciousness of the unified field. This idea proposes that consciousness isn't just a byproduct of the brain, but emerges from a fundamental quantum field that underlies all of reality. It's a concept that attempts to bridge the gap between science and spirituality, suggesting that the universe itself might be a conscious, interconnected whole. At the heart of this theory is the notion of a unified field, a single, all-encompassing quantum field that governs the behavior of everything in the universe. In physics, the search for a unified field theory has been a long-standing goal, aiming to combine the four fundamental forces: gravity, electromagnetism, and the strong and weak nuclear forces into one cohesive framework. But what if this unified field isn't just about physical forces? What if it also encompasses consciousness itself? Imagine the universe as a vast, interconnected web, where every particle, every star, and every living being is part of a single, unified field. In this view, consciousness isn't confined to individual brains but is a fundamental property of the universe, woven into the very fabric of reality. This idea resonates with ancient spiritual traditions that speak of a universal consciousness or a divine essence that permeates all things. But here, it's framed in the language of modern physics, suggesting that science and spirituality might be two sides of the same coin. One way to think about this is through the lens of quantum field theory, which describes particles as excitations or vibrations in underlying fields. Just as light is a manifestation of the electromagnetic field, consciousness could be seen as a manifestation of a unified quantum field. This field wouldn't just govern physical interactions, but also the flow of information and awareness, creating a seamless connection between mind and matter. This theory also offers a potential resolution to one of the most profound questions in science: the nature of consciousness. If consciousness arises from a unified quantum field, then it's not something that emerges solely from complex biological systems like the brain. Instead, it's a fundamental aspect of the universe, present in every particle and every interaction. This would mean that even the simplest forms of matter possess a rudimentary form of consciousness, a concept known as panpsychism. But how does this reconcile science and spirituality? On the scientific side, it provides a framework for understanding consciousness as a natural phenomenon, grounded in the laws of physics. On the spiritual side, it aligns with the idea of a universal consciousness or a divine presence that connects all things. This duality isn't a contradiction but a harmonious integration, where the material and the metaphysical are seen as different expressions of the same underlying reality. The implications of this theory are profound. If consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, then our sense of individuality might be an illusion. We are not separate beings but interconnected nodes in a vast conscious network. Every thought, every action, and every experience ripples through this unified field, influencing the whole in ways we are only beginning to understand. This idea also opens up new possibilities for exploring the nature of reality. If the unified field is conscious, then the universe might be more than just a collection of inert matter. It could be a living, evolving entity with its own awareness. This perspective challenges us to rethink our place in the cosmos, not as passive observers but as active participants in a conscious universe. As we consider the quantum consciousness of the unified field, it's important to approach it with both wonder and critical thinking. While the theory is still speculative, it offers a compelling way to think about the nature of reality, consciousness, and the relationship between science and spirituality. It invites us to see the universe not as a cold, mechanical system, but as a vibrant, interconnected whole, where consciousness is woven into the very fabric of existence. With this in mind, let's turn to our final theory, where we explore the idea that individual consciousness might be a quantum phenomenon, with the self as a holographic projection of the universe. Now, as we reach the final theory in our exploration, let's delve into the intriguing idea that individual consciousness might be a quantum phenomenon, with the self as a holographic projection of the universe. This theory takes the concept of quantum consciousness to its most personal level, suggesting that our sense of self, our thoughts, memories, and identity might not be confined to our brains but could instead be a manifestation of the universe itself. At the core of this idea is the holographic principle, which proposes that all the information in a volume of space can be thought of as encoded on a boundary to that space, much like a hologram. In this view, the universe itself could be a vast, multidimensional hologram, with every part containing the information of the whole. If this is true, then our individual consciousness might not be a localized phenomenon, but a projection of this universal hologram, a tiny fragment of the cosmos experiencing itself. Imagine your mind as a holographic image, a three-dimensional projection emerging from the interactions of quantum fields. In this framework, your sense of self isn't just a product of neurons firing in your brain, but a dynamic interplay of quantum processes that extend far beyond your physical body. This would mean that your consciousness is deeply interconnected with the fabric of the universe, a small but integral part of a much larger conscious whole. This theory also challenges our understanding of identity and individuality. If the self is a holographic projection, then the boundaries between you and the universe become blurred. Your thoughts, emotions, and experiences might not be entirely your own but could be influenced by, or even shared with the broader quantum field. This idea aligns with certain spiritual traditions that speak of the illusion of separateness, suggesting that our sense of individuality is a construct, a way for the universe to experience itself through countless perspectives. But how does this connect to quantum mechanics? One possibility lies in the concept of quantum coherence, where particles exist in a state of superposition, meaning they can be in multiple states at once until observed. If consciousness operates on a quantum level, then your sense of self might also exist in a state of superposition, constantly shifting and evolving as it interacts with the quantum field. This could explain the fluid nature of identity, the way our thoughts and feelings can change so rapidly, and even the phenomenon of altered states of consciousness, such as those experienced in meditation or dreams. This theory also offers a new perspective on free will. If your consciousness is a quantum phenomenon, then your choices might not be entirely predetermined by physical laws but could involve a degree of quantum randomness. This doesn't mean your actions are arbitrary, rather. It suggests that your decisions are influenced by the probabilistic nature of quantum mechanics, allowing for genuine creativity and spontaneity in how you navigate your life. The implications of this idea are both profound and humbling. If the self is a holographic projection of the universe, then your existence is not just a fleeting moment in time, but a unique expression of the cosmos itself. Every thought you have, every decision you make ripples through the quantum field, contributing to the ongoing evolution of the universe. In this view, you are not just a passive observer of reality, but an active participant in its unfolding. As we conclude our journey through these 30 theories, it's clear that the nature of consciousness remains one of the greatest mysteries of our time. From the holographic universe to the quantum self, each theory offers a unique lens through which to explore the profound connection between mind and cosmos. While many of these ideas are still speculative, they invite us to think deeply about who we are, where we come from, and our place in the grand tapestry of existence. So, what do you think? Could your consciousness be a quantum phenomenon, a holographic projection of the universe itself? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more explorations into the mysteries of the cosmos. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, the universe is far stranger and more wonderful than we can imagine. As we wrap up this journey through 30 mind-bending theories about quantum consciousness and the universe, it's worth taking a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered. From the holographic universe to the quantum self, each theory has offered a unique perspective on the profound connection between our minds and the cosmos. Together, they paint a picture of a universe that is not just a cold, mechanical system, but a deeply interconnected, conscious entity, one that we are all a part of in ways we're only beginning to understand. These theories challenge us to rethink some of our most fundamental assumptions about reality. They suggest that consciousness might not be confined to our brains, but could instead be a fundamental feature of the universe itself. Whether it's through the holographic principle, quantum entanglement, or the idea of a unified field, each theory points to the possibility that we are more than just isolated individuals. We are expressions of a larger, conscious whole. What's truly remarkable is how these ideas bridge the gap between science and spirituality. They invite us to consider that the mysteries of the mind and the mysteries of the universe might be one and the same. While many of these theories are still speculative, they open up exciting new avenues for exploration, pushing the boundaries of what we know and inspiring us to ask deeper questions about existence itself. So, where does this leave us? If consciousness is indeed a quantum phenomenon woven into the very fabric of reality, then our understanding of ourselves and the universe is only just beginning. These theories remind us that the cosmos is not just something out there, it's something we are intimately connected to, something we are a part of. And that connection invites us to see ourselves not as separate observers, but as active participants in the unfolding story of the universe. Now it's your turn to join the conversation. What do you think about these theories? Do you believe consciousness could be a fundamental aspect of the universe, or do you see it as something entirely different? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. And if you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a journey into the mysteries of the cosmos. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, the universe is far stranger and more wonderful than we can imagine.